Hello and welcome to give me a second. ESO Chapter Guild meeting for the Sinister Swarm. So we're just gonna try and do a quick one today. And for those again who aren't here or who aren't with us and who didn't hear earlier, we will not be having a meeting next weekend for the holiday weekend. And our next meeting will be December after that one. I'm going to pass now to Splint. And yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dracon. Okay, so as of recently, we had a member of the officers who is changing chapters. So things got a little chaotic with promotions. So on behalf of the officers, we're going to apologize that we did not have prepared promotions for today. And if you are eligible for a promotion and feel completely distraught to the point of ill remorse that you got passed up and you were so looking forward to your Soldier V test, you can send me a PM and I will try and get it done today. If not, promotions will resume bright and early when we actually go back to our normal meeting schedule, which is going to be in 2 weeks, not next week because of Thanksgiving. And yeah. So that's the end of the promotion side of things. The other side of the coin of things I had to talk about was tomorrow is the end of the month 12-man raid that we normally do. We will be stepping foot back into AA, and until we get that cleared, we will not be moving on to Hellra or any subsequent other raids, unless something else dramatically changes in as far as content goes that I'm unaware of coming up in the near future. That being said, I would encourage you all to show up early. There is a rather lengthy post up on the forums that I put up quite some time ago that has all the video links and all the strategies, and if you need to talk to people as far as what is the best gear or setup as far as skills, there are a number of members who are available and quite knowledgeable about various classes or builds, and cannot emphasize enough that it would definitely behoove you to talk to them. Being prepared is definitely the best thing you can do when it comes to structured raiding. I will remind everybody that fundamentally with raiding, there are 3 things that you need to know. It's much like the job triangle. All raiding progression is based on 3 things. It's based on skill, gear, and time. If you have a lot of skill and a lot of gear, it won't take a lot of time. If you have a lot of time and a lot of skill, it won't take a lot of gear. And subsequently, if you have a lot of gear and a lot of time, it won't take a lot of skill. We need to find a nice little balance where that works out well for us. And that is our goal, to get you guys working as a cohesive machine and a smooth operating unit in raiding. So help us help you by being proactive, doing your research, doing your due diligence, looking up your classes, coming prepared, and by all means, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can hit up myself. Left Turn is a good asset. Lavum is a good asset. Farless is a good asset. Who else? There's a couple others I can think of that have also run DSA. Not DSA, AA, and know all the mechanics that are therein. I think Left Turn's run it too. I'm not positive to that effect. That being said, I am almost positive that Kitiara is not back, so I will be passing the floor over to Kirby Silicon Hobbit.
Oh, I was hoping to follow Kitty with my stuff, because it's really important that she goes first.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, Hail Swarm.
Hail Swarm.
Hey, welcome. Okay, so as most of you know, and for the benefit of new people, I'm Kiliara. I'm one of the quartermasters or vice quartermasters for the Sinister Swarm Guild. One of the things that myself and my fellow counterparts do is make sure that that supplies and demands are met within the guild. I just want to bring to you guys attention in terms of the Merchant Guild, something that's going on this week, which has been the weekly raffle. A lot of you guys are aware of that. You've seen the post up in the forums. We're holding a raffle that ends tomorrow. A lot of the, well, most of the money raised from this raffle will go towards securing a vendor for next week. So funds raised directly go to benefit our members and getting a decent vendor. Some of you know that we lost our bids in recent weeks because we didn't have enough funds. We went off and we did some research and found that good vendors out there these days are costing upwards of 100,000 gold. And our members need to find ways to be able to raise that and maintain having that kind of money in our coffers if you wish to maintain having a merchant guild. So to that event, that's why we have brought up the raffle, and what we would really like to see, it's a bit lacking at the moment, is more participation from our members in terms of our members that use the Merchant Guild and wish to have the Merchant Guild continue. The thing about losing the bids is the non-sworn members who are part of the Merchant Guild will then just abandon ship. They will go off and find themselves guilds who have vendors week on week. They owe us no loyalty, and so off they will go, and then you'll find that we'll go from 300 plus members all the way back down to just us. As a guild, we don't want to end up in a situation where we are selling primarily to each other. I would rather give you guys freely things that you need, and if you see something in the store that I have put up and you actually need it, I would rather you came to me and asked for it than buy it, because I don't get so much, not nearly as big as a thrill you guys buying something than off me than some stranger out of the Tamriel world. So I kind of wanted to encourage you guys to help maintain and support the initiative with the Merchant Guild, with, you know, just even purchasing one ticket here or there that interests you, and hey, you may win a decent prize out of it, and all that money goes towards securing a good vendor for the following week. It's a little bit disappointing, I'll have to admit, that I've seen lots of our members participating in the Merchant Guild and having a very good week, particularly this week, and then nothing comes out of it in terms of finding or showing more from giving more of yourself in maintaining and supporting that the Merchant Guild continues. I'm not sure if you're aware of how difficult it is to try and keep above the competition and keep the stores and the support structures in place for it. But I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention and hope that more participation comes from our members in a similar fashion actually to what we're starting to see from the non-guild community in the Merchant Guild. I also want to remind you guys that every member of the Sinister Swarm here and every member of Merchant Guilds can recruit to that guild. You don't need to be a special rank, you don't need to have special recruitment charms. There's plenty of advice and information on our forums about how to recruit to the Merchant Guild, and at any point you can approach myself or any of the officers in finding ways to do that. I apologise for all of the noise going on in the background. My husband and my son are playing FIFA 12 or FIFA 14, and that's what happens when they play football, sorry. Okay, and with that note, I will open up to any questions, and I am done before there's another big fat yelling. My husband's losing, by the way. So are there any questions about the Merchant Guild? Okay, we have some ideas about where we would like to place the Merchant Guild this coming week, but we're always open to listen to our members and obviously have suggestions put to us about what places could work. at the moment we're looking at mostly non-vet areas to ensure that, you know, newer members, not just members of our guild, but newer members in general can always reach these areas. But we don't necessarily want the guild, the merchant guild, to be in too low an area, because again it affects the kind of items that you can sell. So the merchant guild, it's there for you guys to use. Feel free to discuss it and you know, give it some love, okay? And with that, I am done. So if there are no raises, I'm going to pass on off to Hobbit. Voglin! There's a raise, Voglin, I see you. You have the floor, sir. Very good question. Now, we have kind of spied on other guilds over this past 10 days and seen what they're up to. In terms of the competition, we see that most guilds by now have established themselves, without, you know, the good guilds established themselves a good 400 members plus, week on week, and their secret is maintaining and holding those numbers. And in order to find money for bids, they are doing exactly what we have initiated as of last week, which is holding lotteries and raffles to bring in additional funds. And with that money, they are able to bid consistently 100, 150,000 at least, you know, each week to securing and holding a vendor. And that's up and down the various zones. How do I say? When a guild has 400 plus members week on week and a guild store, from our spying, we have been clearly able to see that the system works. They are making, in terms of profit, crazy amounts for their individual members and overall. So it's hard, it's harsh, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, but when we infiltrate those guilds, being very naughty and cunning and devious and kind of sinister, we can look past their history for the last week or two of their sales, their bids, what their individual members are making, and we can see it pays off. You kind of have to maybe take our word for it. I guess we could we could discuss ways that you guys could get a better insight. I don't know, but we've done the research, we've done the homework, and they are putting out good amounts each week to maintain stalls. We even suspect by now that they're also buying the stall next door to them, and intentionally filling that stall with nothing, to therefore drive more trade to the actual store they've put the bulk of some money on. So we think that there are different tactics going on. It's a more sophisticated network than we have been given it credit for up until this point. Cool beans. Any other questions? Alright, then I pass on to Hobbit.
Thank you, Kitty. So, as a lot of you guys know, we have a very open environment in regards to crafting and the guild banks and such, and what you can pull in and pull out and put in and so on and so forth. If you weren't aware of it by now, the ESO chapter is fairly unique in that regard. Going to any of the other chapters, generally the guild banks are locked down to knight or higher, and in most cases the chapter leader. Nothing comes out of that, and oftentimes nothing goes into it without the say-so of the chapter leader and those people that have access to it, which is generally knight or higher. So you're within the ESO chapter, you're in a rather unique environment. Obviously, we have free roam of the Swarmcraft Bank, anything you want out of the regular banks, you can generally just ask someone of higher rank, and they can pull it out for you. But I'm not sure that the chapter as a whole seems to appreciate that fact. When Dracon and I set about making the chapter, we wanted things to be a little bit different, a little bit more of a transparent environment, a little bit freer trade, I guess you could say, an atmosphere that was a little bit more laid back, but also community oriented, where everyone was participating, everyone was, doing what they can to help each other out. And I think we've gone a long way in achieving that. But as someone stated to me earlier today, let's see if I can get the quote right. You don't value anything if you've got nothing of value. And that's to say that because, equating it in the chapter term, because we have such an open guild bank policy, things freely flowing in and out, I think as a whole our membership is not appreciating how unique that situation is. Now that dailies have been implemented, obviously people are going to want to craft things in large bulk, because these dailies they come around often enough. You might have one daily that you do on a Monday, and the same daily might come back around on a Thursday. So the stuff that you crafted on a Monday, if you didn't use all of it, you have it available to craft you have it available to autocomplete that daily, that crafting writ on the Thursday without having to put any effort into it. And that is because of our open guild bank policy with the Swarmcraft. We are starting to see some attitudes that are not community based. People are going into the crafting banks, pulling out the mats they need to get those crafting writs done as quick as possible, and then complaining when there are no mats in there for them to do their dailies. I just want to state right now that the community is not here to allow you to do nothing in the game and sit back and let everyone else do the work. And if we continue to see attitudes in that regard, we're going to start removing people, because that's not right. The craft bank and the guild resources are not here to make your life a cakewalk. Every one of us here works to do our best to supply the community with what they need, and we encourage everyone else to do the same. But when it gets to the point where you start taking advantage of that freedom of trade, and you start looking at those open banks as an entitlement, then that's when we're going to take it away from you. It is a simple matter for us to lock up the guild banks, and no one gets access to them whatsoever. It's not something we want to do. So at this point, we're asking those people that are taking those attitudes to put them in check and reevaluate the sort of atmosphere that you're creating within the community. We don't have any names, and we're not going to single out any people. No names have been given. I just want to elaborate on the situation that's starting to come up. We want you guys to be able to have this free-flowing trade within the community itself, to be able to pull things in and out of the guild banks, do your crafting, do your trading amongst members, help the community out. But we don't want you to think that you're entitled to it, because it is a unique situation. Don't assume that because it's there, those crafts are for you and you alone, and they're to do with that as you please. I mean, yes, you can pull in and out of that craft guild, but we want you to donate as well. We want you to contribute. We want you to help people out. So don't assume that the guild is there to make your MMO gaming experience an easier one, if not a lazy one, because it disrespects the community and it paints you in a bad light. Um, I'm sorry to have to get a little somber with everybody here, but it's something that really is very near and dear to my heart, and I don't like it when members start taking advantage of things that we've set up in order to give them an advantage. Having an advantage is one thing. Taking advantage of a situation is a completely different matter. And if it continues, then we'll remove members because of it. Thank you very much. I am going to move on to something a little bit less harsh. We still have the event calendar up for November. There are things going on, so you can always check out the event calendar, see if there's anything that you want to get involved in. If you need to add something or change something to the event calendar, please let me know. There is the link to the forum post. Again, as was spoken of in the beginning of the meeting, next weekend we will not be having a KBK meeting or a guild meeting, as it is the holiday weekend, so we don't expect a lot of people to be around. So relax, enjoy the family, enjoy the holiday, that sort of thing, and we will get back together the following week, which will be in December by then. So again, if you guys have anything you want to add to the calendar or any changes you want to make, just let me know, and I can get that done. If there's something you want to add to the December calendar specifically for that, please let me know. Oh, and on a different note, we're running the guild surveys again. So if there's any questions that you'd like to have added to the guild surveys, please let me know as soon as possible so we can have that up and running once December comes around. And other than that, I'm going to pass that back to Dracon. Thank you. Okay, Casper.
Well, I had a comment, and I hear you on that attitude issue, Hobbit. My comment is that maybe one of the ways that we could help the situation is by positively recognizing people who do put in a lot of stuff, or just giving people examples on a daily basis, whether it's on the message board or sort of like just shout outs like, hey, this person put in these rare mats that people need, like, great job today. So to keep the sort of like this positive peer pressure feeling about it, to help encourage the good behavior and recognize people when it does happen, and then maybe the people who are doing with the negative attitudes will get more of the message of through that way, instead of just saying like what you're doing is bad. Just a suggestion.
That sounds good to me. Thank you. Angelina?
Mine wasn't about the whole crafting. Mine was about the calendar for this week. Unless Carlock is going to be on, I don't think that we're going to be keeping it low for Friday. I'm going to be out of town, so it's on Carlock whether or not he's going to run it.
I will probably be here. I gotta make a trip to Kansas City, but I gotta find out for sure when that's going to happen. Hopefully it will happen before then.
Well, it's Turkey Day, so I wouldn't worry about it.
It's Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Turkey Day's the day
Day
before.
here, I don't leave the house.
There you go.
Alright, so it was passed to me, and I'll give you guys a couple seconds to ask me more questions or whatever, if you got any questions or raises real fast before I continue on with my little short spiel here. Alright, so nothing from both sides. Okay, so I talked about it last week a little bit, recognizing people and promoting people who have done excellent jobs. And I started with Camerlin, who was actually a guy that previously was supposed to have been promoted back in July, and that just didn't happen. mostly through my own trials and stuff that were happening with my life. I have a list of people who I will eventually be promoting, just to do the actions and the things they've been doing, and all that kind of great stuff they've been doing. Some of them have been here a short time, and just done excellent stuff, and some of them also have been here a really long time, and kind of flown below the radar, kind of which is their mannerisms and kind of who they are, and kind of easygoing, and also been willing to bend over backwards and help out the community as a whole, not just our chapter, with all kinds of different things. So Camberlyn actually passed her her Killer Bee, and was granted Killer Bee this morning. She's not here today for guild meeting, but congratulations to her.
Yay, Grats!
Hell. So,
Yeah.
I'd want to also extend a Killer Bee quest to someone who's been with us for a few years now. I think it's been almost 3. Through, I believe, the 3rd game with us now. And I'd like to extend the opportunity for Ritualist to get his Killer Bee quest today.
Yeah, I would love to.
Alright, so as you know, there's obviously some little task involved with it, or connected to it, as well as having to do orientations and go to the orientation and recruitment clinics before you're accepted to the actual Killer Bee rank. So you're going to need to pass all of those bars before I can give you the full-on Killer Bee, but for today I will mark you with your Killer Bee quest.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats!
Congrats, Ritual.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
My girlfriend just congratulated me too, even though she didn't have any clue what's going on.
Okay, so, that is our meeting for the week, and we will see you in 2 weeks from now. And have an awesome weekend and an awesome Turkey Day. And Kitty Aria, yes.
Just very quickly, a couple of people were inquiring what do they need to do in terms of the Merchant Guild raffle. All you need to do is deposit those fixed amounts into the Merchant Guild bank. So if you're bidding for the 50/50 lottery, for example, then please just make one deposit of 3,000 gold into the Merchant Guild bank. That way the Merchant Guild bank is holding the log records of what's been sent, and then Xavier takes it from there and puts your names into a randomizer. So he needs that as the record rather than sending him mail with money or sending me mail with money. If you could put it directly into the Merchant Guild bank. And that's all, thank you.
Oh, wait, I did have one other thing to add. I forgot to mention. I did want to mention that our DSA competition that we ran last month was an amazing success. Yeah, we'll call it an amazing success. We had 3 groups of people who went in there, and I would like to think that everybody had a good time and walked out, at the very least, some really good practical experience. And I know that the group that I went with picked up some halfway decent loot and had a good time. And I also know that the group that actually won received a rare weapon that has a built-in weapons morph to it. It was very cool. I'm very happy for them that they got that. So I did want to congratulate Left Turn, Digital Prowler, Shamanu, and Demi. Congratulations for winning the DSA challenge last Monday.
And have you already handed them cash yet, or?
No, prizes will be handed out today. I wanted to officially recognize them in front of everybody else.
You have to do it again. I had my back turned.
I have to do it again?
Yeah, I had my back turned.
Oh, okay.
All right, quick question. Yes. So what if I would like to make, what if I would like to do 8 entries into the 50-50 raffle? How do I deposit that? What if I would like to do 3 50-50 raffle entries and 3 of the $1,000 gold raffle entries? How do I do that? How do you want that
Please do your
deposited to the bank?
Please do your entries separately. Each entry gets logged as separately. So that's then 8 times 3,000 and then 2 times 2,000 in terms of gold deposits.
But
It's-
should
it's
I,
considered as-
if,
No, don't put the total amounts in for one or the other. It's 8 separate 3,000 gold for the 50-50 if you want 8 tickets, and 2 separate 2,000 gold entries for the Dwemer Page tickets, for example. So
gotcha, thank you very much.
So 1 deposit per ticket.
indeed.
Did I just do that wrong then? Because I sent